Welcome to this course on PnetLab installation. In the previous modules, we saw how to install PnetLab and also install iShare2. In this particular module, we're going to run a test on all we've done. So this is our PnetLab environment. Just like we saw in the previous module, there are no images here. So we're going to be using iShare2 to install all the necessary images. So we'll come to the CLI, we'll log in, and then after logging in, we're going to type the command iShare2. Now, when you type iShare2 and you don't know what else to do, you can just click on your tab button or question mark button. So if you type question mark, it will show you all the things that you can do. That with iShare2, you can search for available images. You can pull or download images. You can see images that have been installed, or you can even see your available labs. Okay, so there are lots of things that you can do. In this case, we're going to be searching. Okay, so we're going to do iShare2. Then we're going to be searching. Now, if you're searching, you can search for Kemu. You can search for IOU/IOL, or you can search for Dynamics images. Okay, so just like we saw, it's possible to search for camel images if that's what you want. Okay, so you can search for IOL, camel, dynamics, or even Docker images. Okay, so let's say maybe I want to start with a Windows. So let's say maybe the first image I want to install is maybe a Cisco switch or maybe a Windows. Okay, let's do a Windows 10 computer. So I'll come here and I'll say I share two search Kemu. Okay, because I don't know the exact Windows file, so I'll just say I share two search Kemu. When I do so, it will give me a list of all the Windows computers. Now I can see that there's a Windows 10 computer available. I'll pick the one that I want. I can see several. Okay, let's say I'm interested in Windows 10 Pro. Okay, so the number for Windows 10 Pro is 1203. It's a file of about 9 gig. So I'm going to take note of this number 1203. Yeah, I'll come back here and I'll say I share two pull. Another word for pull is download. So I would say I share two pull Kemu, and the number, if you remember, we said it was 1203, right? So 1203. So I'll pick that number and I'll say I share two pull Kemu 1203. Then I'll click on enter. When I do so, it will begin to automatically download the files that I need. Now, it is if I were using the traditional method, I would need to use putty, then I'll create this directory. I'll go to /opt/pnetlab/addon/kemu, then I'll create this, after creating a directory, then I'll use WinRecipe to, okay, after creating a directory, I'll now go to Microsoft's website to type Windows 10 download. And then after downloading this, I'll now use WinRecipe to upload it to my PnetLab. But that method is stressful. That method is time consuming. With with this iShare2, it's actually easier. Okay, I can also repeat multiple instances. So while this is downloading, I can bring up another image. So let's say this is downloading now, right? I can bring up a new image, say maybe. So let's do this again. 192.168.0.251. I'll log in as my root user. I'll put in my password. Then I'll do I share 2 search, say maybe this time around I'm looking for a router, so I'll do search dynamics. So it's going to show me all the router images that are available. Let's say maybe I want to make use of, let's pick anyone. So let's say I want to make use of this one. Yeah, so I can pick this guy. Then I'll take note of the number. The number is 16. So I'm going to say iShare2 pool dynamics 16. Then it will begin to install the router automatically. Don't forget that at the same time my Windows 10 is also installing, so I can put this here. So we can, okay, so Windows 10 is still downloading. It all depends on my network speed. Okay, so while this is downloading, my router image has been downloaded. So if I come here and I click on nodes, okay, one thing I need to do is refresh my browser, because as you can see, I'm not seeing anything now. So I need to just refresh this. Once I refresh it, I can then come back and check, and I can see my images. I can see the router, I can see the Windows 10. So let's start with the router. So I'll select the router. I'll give this a name, maybe ISP router. I can call this my ISP router. And then I'll click on save. Ideally, this ISP router is supposed to be connected to the internet. So how do we confirm that? I'll click on, okay, so to set up my internet node, I'll click on network, and then I'll give it a name, internet. I'll change this to cloud 1. I'll click on save, and this is fine. Okay, I can always power up my router to be sure that it's working. As you can see, it's working. So I'll click on open link, and then this is my router image, as you can see. So I can now begin to do my configurations on the router. Okay, I can log into my router. I can change the name of my router to, so let me call this ISP router. I can give it an IP address. As an example, I can say interface f0/0, IP address maybe 10.10.0.10. I can use that as my IP address. Subnet marks 255.255.255.0. I could say IP NAT outside, and then I could do a no shutdown. Yeah, so once this, I can now do a no shutdown, and then, okay, I can confirm what I have. I can do a show. I can say show IP interfaces brief to see what I've done. This is just to show you that the router is working fine. We can spin up more images. Okay, let's close that router. We can spin up, let's see our Windows. Okay, so the Windows is still downloading. We can spin up extra images as well. Okay, so let's do another test. We could say iShare2 search. Let's look for switch images. Okay, so iShare2 search IOL to look for switch related images. Let's pick a layer 2 switch, or maybe a layer 3 switch. Okay, so I'm going to go for number 4. So I'll change this to pool. iShare2 pool IOL, then I'll select number 4. It will begin to download the switch image. Okay, so as you can see, the switch image is being downloaded. Estimated time of arrival, that's the time it will take for the download to get completed, is actually about 25 seconds thereabouts. It's still downloading. In about 25 seconds, we should see the switch image. So we're not just limited to Windows or to switches and the rest of them. There are so many images that we can actually pull using iShare2. It makes life easier. It makes it easier to download all the necessary images that you need for your lab. Okay, so this has been completed. As you can see, it says that it has been completed. It's ran an integrity check test and it was successful. So again, if you remember, the process is we'll refresh our web browser, we'll click on add an object, and then we can see our layer 3 switch. Okay, let's say maybe we want to download a layer 2 switch. We'll do the same thing as iShare2 search IOL. Let's pick a layer 2 switch, say maybe this guy, the first one on the list. So we'll repeat our command and we'll just do search for number 1. Again, it will begin to download the switch image. Let's look for firewalls also. So we can bring up another instance. Okay, let's duplicate one of these, or let's look for a new session, right? So we'll say 192.168.0.251. We'll log in as our root user. We'll put our password, which is peanuts, and then we can then say iShare2 search for Camo. Then let's pick any random firewall. There are lots of Camo images. There are about 1,249 images. Let's pick, say maybe my favorite firewall is Checkpoint. So I'll look for Checkpoint somewhere around here, and let's see if we have Checkpoint somewhere around here. Okay, so I'm still searching for that. I think highlighting on this will make it easier to search for images. So I'm still searching for checkpoints. Okay, so I can see checkpoint. Checkpoint is denoted as CPSG, Checkpoint Security Gateway. So I'll go for the latest, and you can see the images are actually licensed. Yeah, so I'm going to go for this one, 193 and 194. I'm going to be downloading the Checkpoint Security Gateway and also the Checkpoint SMS. So I'll do iShare2 pull Camo 193 so that I can download the Checkpoint operating system. So it's beginning to download our Checkpoint RH1.20 operating system. Okay, let's go back to check our Windows. I think, okay, so these are Windows. It's still taking a while. Everything depends on your network speed though. But when we are done, we can, okay, let's look for a lighter image. Let's look for a very light image this time around. So the 251, I'll log in using my credentials. I'll do iShare2 search Camo. But this time around, I'm going to look for a very light image. So we'll look for something that's very light. Let's see. Something that's probably in megabytes just for the purpose of this lab. So let's just pick any random image that's very light. Okay. So we can see, let's pick any random. Okay, so let's pick this one. Okay, so let's pick this. So I'll go for, say, maybe I want the lightest amongst all, which is this. So I'm going for number 922. So I'm going to say iShare2 search Camel 922, and then it will begin. Okay, sorry, not search, that should be pull. iShare2 pull Camel 922. Now, when I do this, it will begin to download the switch image. So I went for the light test so that we could get it completed in record time. Okay, it has downloaded that image. It will run some integrity checks. It will fix permissions. Again, I need to refresh my browser. I'll click on add an object, and then I can see the image. Okay, let's refresh this again. Yeah, then I can see the image that was selected. Yeah, so I can change this from layer 3 to layer 2. I can then call this a switch. I can search for my switch image. Then when we're done, we'll save what we've done, and then we can connect this to the router and then try to power it up. If it doesn't work, we'll need to fix permissions. So we can manually fix permissions. Let's see let's see how far this has gone. 36 minutes left. So we have about 36 minutes left for the Windows 10 ISO file. For this other one, for checkpoints, we have about 24 minutes. Let me drag this over here. So we have about 23 minutes thereabouts. But as soon as they are all completed, all we need to do is refresh our browser, and then we'll be able to see everything that has been downloaded. So with this, we've come to the end of this particular module. I'll meet you in the next one. Thank you.